In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to get to $1,000 a day in your lawn care business. I'm going to tell you what I've done at least, and then hopefully some of this so you can apply to your own business and have similar type success. Of course, this is no promise of income. You're in a different market, you're a different person, and you may make $2,000, you may make $200, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you what I've done, and hopefully it's going to help your business. First tip on getting to $1,000 a day in your lawn care business, and don't overlook this one, even though I probably did for years, and that is actually your mindset. I don't get too worked up over psychology and all that, but as I've become a little bit older, I do think it's actually more important than I realize, and that's because small business ownership is not an easy thing, and it can get you down. There's highs and lows, but I've had to come to realize, and sometimes you need somebody else that has business experience to help encourage you, to help stay motivated, and you as a business owner to be able to keep your eyes focused on what you do. I think honestly, you hear people with this 80-20 rule and what you're going to focus on. I think so many times people end up getting caught up focusing a lot of their time doing things that don't matter nearly as much as the important things. You know, hopefully in this video I can share with you some of the important things that you need to be focused on and not to neglect the others. But if you find yourself getting discouraged, you find yourself not growing very fast, you find yourself just not being very productive in your day, or rather working long hours and not really making as much money as you hope to at the end of the year, then again, you got to change your mindset. And so one of the things I want to talk to you about with your mindset is you've got to convince yourself before you can convince customers that you are actually worth a good price to take care of their property. For instance, if you in your mind think that you're only worth $40 to go cut somebody's grass, then it's going to be very hard for you to translate over to the customer and charge them $70, okay? Now the market obviously has something to do with it. You may be in a market that only pays $40 for a small yard. You may be one that pays $50, whatever. But you've got to convince yourself, whatever the market rate is in your area, that you can be toward the higher end of that market and not the lower end of the market. I had a guy share this story with me probably 15 years ago, and I still remember it today, but he had started his lawn care business, and one of his wealthier clients wanted him to do a large landscape installation job in the wintertime. And he told me when she asked him, he was like, no, I don't think that I'm not really ready to do that kind of project. And she said, no, I want you to do it, and gave him some extra comments, and he did the job, and as far as I know, it turned out great. But you know, doing that and having a customer actually believe in you, and then you being successful with the job can give you that confidence to say, you know what, I am the person to take this job on. So it may take you a little while, but if you find yourself several years into your lawn care business and you're still thinking, you know, I just kind of got to be a little bit cheaper than everybody else to get my work, or I just don't know if I'm the one that's going to do the best, then you may need to improve your skills. Maybe that really is part of the problem, but you also need to work on your mindset and believe that you are worth the price you're charging. Because I tell people all the time, I said, listen, the lawn care business is a great business, but it's not so great that you can go out there and just charge low prices and do well. I think it is profitable, but it requires efficiency and proper pricing, in my opinion, to be successful for most of us. All right, the second thing I want to mention, and I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way because you don't have to do this, but this is kind of the route I took. When I jumped into weed control and fertilization, I saw my income rise significantly from when I had a mowing business. So I'm currently in my 3rd lawn care business. The first 2 focus primarily on mowing grass. I'm not anti-mowing. I think it can be great, but I think you have to really choose specific strategy with mowing to be successful long term, where the weed control, in my opinion, is more scalable. And also, when I did both simultaneously, it was very clear that I was making more money doing the weed control and fertilization than I was mowing grass. I don't know how many years it went by where I would sit there and watch the people spray lawns and put fertilizer out, and I was mowing grass, and in my mind I had no idea how much more revenue they were making than I was out there mowing grass. I think it's going to be extremely challenging working solo to generate $1,000 a day. Now you can definitely do it with a crew, and I think if you have a crew and you're mowing and you're targeting commercial properties or high-end residentials, or you have just an extreme route density where you're extremely efficient and you keep your overhead down, then you can be very successful with that. But with the weed control and fertilization, just give you an example, for me, I can spray about 100 yards a week solo by myself. One truck, a little Honda engine on my gram spray rig on the back of my truck, and 100 yards is really not a big deal at all. And I could definitely do more than that if I pressed it. Nah, they're fairly small yards, but just think, I would no way in the world will I attempt to mow 100 yards. I don't think there's any week I've ever had working solo where I came close to 100 yards mowing grass. So just think about that. Even if you charge the same, and I found oftentimes the spraying might be a little bit higher prices. Now you do have the chemical cost, but if I go out there and let's just say 20 yards a day and they're $50 each, which is not that expensive for a weed control and fertilization route, then that's $1,000. Now of course somebody you're gonna say, well, that's revenue, Jason. Yeah, typically the chemicals, fertilizer over the course of the year average out to about 20% of my expenses. But you got to look at it. What other overhead is there? I mean, yeah, I've got a truck and a spray rig and a ride-on spreader sprayer, you know, but there's not weed eaters, mowers, trailer, backpack sprayers, backpack blowers, edgers. That needs a lot of upkeep and maintenance. So it is a lot less upkeep on the equipment and ultimately making higher margins and a lot more revenue doing weed control and fertilization. I offer resources for that at lawncarelife.com, including video courses, pricing charts, things like that. And there's also mowing resources as well. You can check those out after the video, lawncarelife.com. The third thing I want to mention is your route density. Again, I said it before, the lawn business is a great business, but I have did a video in the past where I argued that efficiency was actually more important than pricing. I absolutely believe that. I'm not saying pricing is not important, but I'm telling you, if you're charging $50 for every yard you do and I charge $46 for the same size yards, if my route is significantly denser than your route, I'm ultimately probably going to be taking home a lot more money in profitability. Let's just say it's weed control and fertilization. You've got $50 yards that are spread out and you're able to get 17 done in a day, and I've got the same size yards tighter together and I'm able to do 24 in a day. I'm definitely making more money than you and saving on the gas and some of the overhead as well. Now, I'm not saying charge $46, I'm saying charge $50 and still have a tight route. You know, and $50 is a small yard. It's like my price chart, that's roughly a 4,000 square foot yard. So some people think, oh, I'm just gonna bump my prices up and I'm gonna go up on my prices. That's fine if you need to do that. But ultimately, I think a bigger problem is they don't have a tight route and they spend way too much time driving. So let me just tell you, in my business, I can do 300 something yards on 2 tanks of gas in my truck, okay? So averaging over 150 yards per tank of gas in my truck. So yeah, gas prices go up, gas prices come down, whatever. It's not really a huge factor in my business because my route is so tight. I'm not sitting all day driving all over the place, you know? And I'm not wasting time, especially if you got employees and they're just driving 20 minutes to get to the next yard. I don't want to drive 2 minutes to the next yard. Now, sometimes I do, but if I drive 2 minutes, I hope there's more than 1 yard waiting on me off that 2-minute drive, or especially 10 minutes. Let's just say I drove 10 minutes. That's fine. I'll drive 10 minutes. I don't want to drive 10 minutes to get to 1 yard. I want to drive 10 minutes to a neighborhood where I've got 15 yards. Okay, and then I'm just cruising through the neighborhood, knocking them out. So ultimately, I would like to get it to where I am making about $10,000 in revenue off of 1 tank of gas in my truck. Now, that's a dense route. At that point, I'm not worried about gas prices too much because my route's so tight. It's minimal expense. A minimal percentage of my expenses comes to fuel costs. So again, let me share from my own business. Number 4 is marketing. So when I started, one thing I did for marketing was I did get a website. I tell people, if you're gonna be in the lawn care business, why would you not have a website long term? You might not get tons of leads initially, but if you can rank, even in a smaller town, like my city has about 25,000 people, and I'm ranked 1 or 2, I'm toward the top of Google listings in my area, and I get so many phone calls from the internet, just people Googling lawn care near me, lawn care service, weed control service, and guess what? My business pops up and they give me a call. That is a tremendous way to do it. And also, if you're mowing grass, I would definitely reach out to the local weed control and fertilization companies, especially the smaller companies, not necessarily the big franchises, but if you can get to know that owner there and you say, hey, listen, I'm mowing grass, you're spraying weeds, how about this? I'll send you my mowing business, you send me your weed control business, and we'll have a little partnership here. So that's something that's great to do. That's a little bit harder if you're mowing and spraying, but if you're just doing one or the other, I personally have developed a lot of relationships with mowing people who send me their referrals. And they want to send me the referrals because they have confidence that I'm going to make that yard look good and I'm accessible to them and everything. So they want their yards looking good that they're mowing, and so they want their customers coming to me. So when I get a referral from one of these people that's recommended me, I mean, it's pretty much sold deal because they're saying, hey, if you want weed control and fertilization, this is the guy to call. And I get that call and go out there and sell the job, and it's great. But The other thing you can do if you want to grow faster, I mean, yes, get a website. I hired a company this year to do my website, and I actually think this is a really good deal, but it's $199. Now that's the price they gave me, and they give that to people that use the affiliate link they provided. So this company is called Footbridge Media. They work with service companies like HVAC, plumbing, lawn care, and I'll put the link in the description, or you can go to footbridgemedia.com and you can see the Lawn Care Life link at the very bottom right of the homepage. If you just call them directly, it's going to be $249 a month. If you use my link in the description or at the bottom right of their homepage at footbridgemedia.com, then it's going to be $199 per month. Now, what does that get you? Well, a lot of times when you get a website, you got to pay thousands of dollars to get the website built, and then if it's not ranking well on Google, it's not doing you a lot of good. These, for $199 a month, they build your website and do the search engine optimization. They also do other marketing things like printed marketing and things like that, but they also help me get online reviews for my business, so more reviews on Google and Facebook, things like that. So I've had a great experience with them. You can check out my website, alabamalawnpros.com. It was built by Footbridge Media. Again, you got to use my link if you want it $199 a month, or it's going to cost you $249 a month. The other company I've started working with is called Lightspeed Social Agency. You can Google them. There's also a link in the description. This is a guy named Cody Owen is the owner of this particular business, and he is focused primarily on lawn care businesses and running Facebook, Instagram ads, things like that to help you get that quick return. So I personally don't know of a faster way other than maybe like getting out and knocking on doors. That's pretty fast. But as far as doing some sort of advertising, I don't know what's going to get you faster results than doing Facebook and Facebook ads and things of that nature. So you can talk to Cody about your situation. What I like about it is I told Cody, I said, listen, I'm personally not really trying to grow that fast, but I wouldn't mind growing in these specific neighborhoods. And so they have a way to kind of micro target specific neighborhoods with their advertising. So I gave him the name of 2 neighborhoods. I said, listen, run my ad in the spring on these 2 neighborhoods. I don't want to run it all year long, just like February, March, April, maybe May, and that's it. If I can pick up a handful of yards in these 2 neighborhoods, that's great. But you can obviously expand it, run it to a bigger audience and get more leads if you're trying to grow. Because that's what I tell people about the weed control and fertilization is you do need a lot of customers. It's not 50 customers spraying their yard. You're not going to make that much money. You know, I could easily handle 400 customers myself. But it's year-round business here in the South, and up north when it's not year-round, it's still very profitable during the season when they are spraying and fertilizing. And the 5th thing I want to mention in this video is avoid unwise growth opportunities. What I mean by that is sometimes there's pressure on you when you're just starting out in your business just to go out there and just try to get customers anywhere you can get it, whatever they need to do, whatever area they're in, whatever kind of lawn work. If it's just semi-related, yes, we do that, we do this, we do everything, and you end up with unwise growth. And I'm not even gonna get mad at you if you do that the first year or 2, because you're really just trying to make it, okay? I understand that. I've started 3 lawn businesses. All 3 times I was working a side job to try to get it off the ground. But as quickly as you can, I would try to narrow down and say, I am going to saturate these areas. I want 300, 400, 500 yards. Again, that's from spraying, whatever. You can get as many as you want. Or mowing, I want 50 to 100 yards in this area. And so that you become extremely efficient. And if the customer fits with what you're trying to do in the area you want to work, great. That's a win. But you got to be okay. And I had to come to the terms with this. Used to, I would have like this unbelievably high closing rate. I was be like, yeah, I got that one. I had 6 quotes today. I got 5 out of 6, you know, and that was always great. And I felt good. What a salesman I am. You know, I'm really not that great of a salesman, but partially my prices were a little too low. And partially I was like, if they were within some reasonable distance of me, I said, yeah, I'll come out there and go drive there and drive there and drive there. And you can do that if you're trying to grow huge and you really want to saturate a big market. But for me, as I wanted to stay small and running a solo company, now I look at it as like, I would rather get 1 out of 5 if that 1 is in the neighborhood I'm in. But guess what? I don't have to go drive and look at all of them. All I do, if they're not in my area, I say, I'm sorry, we don't currently work in that area. I used to work in that area, but I've downsized my business. But hey, let me recommend a friend of mine who does work in that area. And so the customer's happy that, you know, I've recommended somebody, my friend's happy, he's trying to grow, and so I give him a lead, and I'm happy because I don't have a less than ideal customer to add to my clientele. I only have a certain amount of space in my schedule to fill up with yards, and I want them to be in the neighborhoods I'm already established in. in. I'm familiar with the yards, and it's not gonna mess up my route density. Actually, it's gonna improve my route density. You guys have been in the lawn business for a long time. Let me know what you think about my list. Add to the list in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. I've been on YouTube for about near forever. Seems like since I was about in the 3rd grade, but I know it hadn't been quite that long. But I've been on here for a while. Subscribe. I appreciate you watching. You check out the links in the description, or just keep watching more videos. Click on Lawn Care Life, which is my channel name, and you can go see over 1,000 videos I've done. I've got a busy year planned for YouTube, so I hope you'll follow along. We'll see you guys in the next video.